Have you ever found the right home in Halifax and then the second you start getting excited, you hear the words every buyer hates hearing? We have multiple offers. And just like that, something that should feel exciting, it starts to feel stressful because now you're thinking, how much higher do I need to go in my price? Am I about to make a decision I'll later regret just because I'm scared of losing this home? Now, if that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. You do not have to overpay to win in a bidding war. You do not need to panic, and you do not need to make a rush decision that hurts you financially just to beat out another buyer for the home. And what you do need is to create a smart plan. That's what we're talking about in this video today. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to win a bidding war in Halifax without overpaying and without making emotional mistakes. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, an upsizer, or a downsizer, this is going to help you. I'm Logan Tomczyk, your real-life realtor here in Halifax. And my goal is simple. I want to help you make your next move with more confidence, less stress, and with a strategy that actually fits your lifestyle and that you're comfortable with. Because a lot of buyers, they think that winning means offering the most amount of money, but that's not always what gets the deal done in today's market. Sometimes the winning offer is not the highest offer. Sometimes it's the cleanest offer. Sometimes it's the most certain offer. That's where strategy changes everything when navigating the 2026 housing market. Now, let's talk about why bidding wars feel so intense right now. But before then, if you like this content, quickly hit the subscribe button. I'm always happy to help. Most buyers are not just competing with other people. They're competing with fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing another home. Fear that this might be their only chance to get into the housing market. And when people buy from fear, they usually make one of two mistakes. They either offer more than what they actually are comfortable with, or they freeze and lose the home because they were not prepared properly. Neither one of these is a great outcome, because buying a home should still make sense after the excitement wears off. You want to walk into your new place feeling proud of the decision that you made and excited, not wondering whether you stretched yourself far too thin just to win the keys to this home. That's why I always say this. The goal is not just to win the house, the goal is to win the house the right way. So, what does that actually look like? First, get fully prepared before the right home shows up. Not casually browsing, not guessing what your payments might be, not assuming you'll figure it out later. I'm talking about getting properly pre-approved, understanding your numbers, knowing your comfort zone, and deciding ahead of time what kind of risk you are and are not willing to take. Because when the right home hits the market, things can move pretty quickly. And the buyers who do best in multiple offer situations are usually not the ones making emotional decisions in the moment. They're already prepared. They are the ones who have already decided how they were going to move before the pressure showed up. That preparation, it gives you more confidence. Second, understanding that sellers are not always choosing the highest number. When most buyers hear multiple offers, they instinctively think that that only means the price. But sellers are people, just like you and me, and people care about more than just the top of the line number. Some sellers want certainty, some want a quicker closing date, some need extra time to focus on their next move. Some do not want a deal filled with conditions and uncertainty. That means your offer can become more competitive in ways that do not automatically require you to spend more money. So what could that possibly look like for you? Now, maybe that means offering a closing date that works better for the seller. Maybe it means having a stronger deposit to show the seller that we're more serious. Maybe it means keeping your offer cleaner and simpler. When you understand the market from the seller's perspective, you can stop guessing and start building a real strategy. Now, let me give you a real example here. Imagine a first-time buyer named Sarah. Sarah had already lost out on another home before we connected. So by the time she found the next one, she was emotionally exhausted. I understand. She loved the home we saw. It was fit perfectly for her budget, and for the first time, she could really picture herself there. Then the update came in from the listing agent. Multiple offers, and immediately her mind went where a lot of buyers go. She thought, I either go way over asking price or I lose all over again. She was ready to throw everything at the wall to see what stuck. More money than she was comfortable with, fewer protections that she should have had, and a decision based almost entirely on emotion. But this is exactly where buyers need someone calm beside them. So instead of reacting, we took a step back and we slowed down. We looked at the situation. We talked through what the home was really worth to her. We looked at what would feel strong without putting her in a position that she would later regret. And most importantly, we learned more about what the sellers actually wanted. What mattered most to the seller was not just the price. We learned that they wanted a smoother deal. They wanted confidence that the buyer could close. They wanted fewer complications. In this case specifically, we also learned for the semi-detached home we were offering on that the sellers were going to live in Unit A and sell Unit B. They want to know that they were going to have easy, great neighbors living beside them. So we built an offer around all of that information that we were able to gather. Now, was our offer strong? Absolutely. Was it reckless? Absolutely not. And in the end, Sarah, she got the home. We were in her budget. We had the conditions that she was comfortable with protecting us because we knew that the sellers were going to live in Unit A. We even created a letter so they knew more about us and who we were as buyers. We got the home for Sarah, not because she panicked, not because she overpaid just to feel safe, but because she had a strategy that made the seller feel confident in saying yes to us. That is how a smart buyer wins in this 2026 Halifax market. Now, there are also moments where we can get even more strategic. Sometimes it means sense to structure in our offer in a way that gives you room to compete without blindly overshooting our price. Sometimes the biggest advantage is timing, communication, and knowing when to move decisively. This is why having guidance, it matters so much, because bidding wars are not just about being bold with the highest price. They're about being smart at the right moments. Anyone can just offer more money. That is easy advice, but it's not always good advice. Good advice looks at your goals, your budget, the property, the seller's position, and the kind of move that you're trying to make. Now, a first-time home buyer may need one strategy and an upsizer may need a totally different strategy. A downsizer, they could need something completely different from those other two. That is perfectly normal and makes sense that not everyone's journey or everyone's strategy should be the same. I also wanted to say this, for the buyer who feels discouraged right now, really bring it in. Just because a market feels competitive does not mean you are out of options. It does not mean that every good home is out of reach. It does not mean that you have to become reckless to have a chance at home ownership. When you have a plan, when you understand your limits, and when you know how to write an offer that is competitive, thoughtful, everything else starts to feel more manageable. You may still need to move fast. The market is still at a fast pace. You may still need to be decisive, but you do not need to be chaotic. You can be calm, you can be strategic, and yes, you can still win in this market. So if you're buying in Halifax or anywhere in the core of Nova Scotia and you want to be ready before the next bidding war shows up, this is exactly the kind of strategy conversation that we need to be having right now, not after you've already fallen in love with a home, because the best time to build a winning plan is before you actually need to use it. My contact information is in the description of this video. And if you're serious about buying, reach out to me directly. I'm always taking on new clients, and I'd be happy to help be a resource for you to build a smart, confident game plan to help with your next move. And if this video has helped you in any way, subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot and I greatly appreciate it. And I'm always posting real estate advice, whether you're a first-time buyer, an upsizer, or a downsizer. If you just want more information about a less stressful real estate experience here in Halifax, I'm always happy to help. I'm Logan Tomczyk, your real-life realtor, and I want to help make your next move a successful one.